Welcome to Jurien Bay and the amazing experience of skydiving over the spectacular turquoise coast. Before we get you jumping, there are a few comfort and safety details that you need to know, so please pay attention. When it is your time to jump, we will provide you with a life jacket because we're jumping so close to the ocean. To put on the life jacket, unzip the pocket and pull it over your head. Inflate by pulling on the tab here. There is also a manual mouth inflator shown here. In the event of a water landing, follow your instructor's directions. One of our staff will fit you with a harness specifically designed for tandem skydiving. They are adjustable for all body types and sizes and will be double checked by your instructor prior to boarding the aircraft and adjusted and tightened in the aircraft just before jumping. The harness connects directly to the parachute system at 4 points. One on each shoulder and one on each hip. Once fitted, smoking is not permitted as it can damage the harness. The harness may feel loose around your shoulders. This is normal and for your comfort. It is very important not to adjust the harness. Your instructor will also supply you with a pair of goggles. Don't worry if you don't get them straight away. They're not required until just before we leave the aircraft. At Skydive Jurien Bay, we pride ourselves on the use of top-of-the-range equipment, maintained to the highest standards. The tandem parachute system has 2 parachutes, the main parachute down the bottom and the reserve parachute up the top. The reserve parachute is also fitted with an automatic activation device which acts as a backup. If in the rare circumstance the reserve parachute is required, follow your instructor's directions, stay in the freefall position, which will be covered in a moment. Only authorised staff are permitted on the airfield, so stay next to your instructor when walking to the aircraft. Spectators are welcome as long as they do not enter the airfield. Always approach the aircraft from the rear and stay behind the wings, well clear of the propeller on the front. And again, absolutely no smoking. We have 2 aircraft, a Cessna 206 that seats 5 skydivers and a Cessna 208 that can seat up to 16. After a quick photo before boarding, you will sit in front of your instructor facing towards the rear. The harness may feel loose around the shoulders at this point. Again, this is normal and accentuated while sitting down. You will then connect your harness to the aircraft with a single point restraint, which functions just like a car seatbelt. In an emergency situation, simply lift the door to open it. Enjoy the amazing view of the turquoise coast while your instructor films your experience. About 5 minutes before jumping, your harness will be tightened and connected directly to the parachute system by your instructor, who will then make their safety checks. When directed, put your goggles on just before jumping. When the door opens, expect a temperature drop and a lot of wind. Follow your instructor's directions moving towards the door. At the door, take a breath, remember to breathe and smile, legs outside and tucked under the aircraft, hands holding the harness near your shoulders. Head back on your instructor's right shoulder and smile for the camera. As you leave the aircraft, push your hips forward and tuck your legs back in between their legs into the arched position. Keep your head back so you can take in the beautiful coastline and remember to smile. A tap on the right shoulder after a few seconds is your cue to bring your arms out. It is very important not to grab your instructor's arms as they need them to operate the parachute. Once the parachute has opened, your instructor may adjust the harness for your comfort. And if the wind conditions are appropriate, give you the controls so you can fly the parachute for yourself. Then we practice the landing. Knees up, followed by your feet. During the landing, follow your instructor's directions and keep your feet up. Do not reach them down towards the ground as you land. We have 2 different landing locations, so tell friends and family watching to communicate with the ground staff, as sometimes we don't know which landing area we will be landing at until after the aircraft has taken off. Be sure to wear comfortable clothing and closed, tight-fitting shoes. If you have been scuba diving, are pregnant, have sinus issues, shoulder injuries, motion sickness, wear eye contact lenses, or have problems equalising, please speak to one of our staff. We understand everybody is on a budget, however, we strongly recommend jumping from 14,000 feet, as almost everybody experiences sensory overload, and a longer freefall gives you more time to really appreciate the experience. It's never too late to change the altitude you're jumping from. We also recommend an outside camera flyer to capture your jump from a third-person perspective. It is truly an amazing experience to have someone jump with you and shake your hand in freefall. And most importantly, have fun, have an amazing time, and thanks for choosing Skydive Jurien Bay.